Okasa vandami bante dwarataenang mayang kattang sappang aparadang kamatume bante dutiyampi okasa bante dwarataenang mayang kattang sappang aparadang kamatume bante tatiyampi okasa vandami bante dwarataenang mayang kattang sappang aparadang kamatume bante.
Sapiti Wajantu Sokoro Govina Satu Mate Bawan Dandaraya Sukhitika Yukobava Abhiwadana Siddhi Sanitya Uta Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vatanti Ayuvanno Sukhambalam.
Pante, I'm going to request for the precept.
Okay.
Okasa ahang bhante tisaranena sah ajiva atthamakka silang dhammang yachami anugahang katva silang detame bhante dutiyampi okasa ahang bhante tisaranena sah ajiva atthamakka silang dhammang yachami anugahang katva silang detame bhante tatiyampi okasa ahang bhante Tisaranena sah ajiva atthamakka silang dhammang yachami anugahang katva silang detame bhante.
Yamavada Mitavadeta.
Bhante.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Buddhang Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammang Sharanam Gacchami, Sanghang Sharanam Gacchami.
Dutiyambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dutiyambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Dutiyambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang Sharanam Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Sharanam Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Sharanam Gacchami.
Ti Sarana Gahana Azatadiyambi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Tadiyambi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Tadiyambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Sharanam Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Sharanam Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Sharanam Gacchami.
Ti Sarana Gahanam Baribonam.
Bhante.
Can you say it?
Okay. Panatipata Veramani Padang Samadhiyami Adinnadana Veramani Padang Samadhiyami Kame Sumichachara Veramani Padang Samadhiyami Musavada Veramani Padang Samadhiyami Sura Meraya Majjapamadatthana Veramani Padang Samadhiyami Pisuna vacha veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami parushta vacha veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami sampalappa vacha veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Tisrena sa Jivatamaka Silan Dhamma Sarukan Katava Pamadina Sambhadita.
Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times before we start giving Dhamma talk. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So today we are going to talk about Sigalovada Sutta or we also call Singala Sutta. We can find the discourse in Dika Nikaya, Patika Vagga. It's very long discourse. Also, it's very, very rich ingredient about disciplines and duties of lay devotees. We can also understand that it is the layperson Vinayas. As we have Vinaya rules for bhikkhus, this discourse is really, really beneficial for lay devotees, also like duties and rule and regulations for lay devotees. Especially when we are going to live in our modern society or in household life, we should know all the rules and regulations mentioned in these suttas. So the Buddha delivered this discourse in Rajagaha in Veluvana Monastery, Bamboo Group. So I have to introduce who is Sangala. Actually, he is really, really very disobedient boy. Although his parents admonished him in many different ways, he didn't accept it. So one more thing we have to know, his parents are noble disciples of the Buddha. Both of them are Sotapanna. They wish their son to see the Buddha, to see chief disciples, great disciples, or other Buddha disciples. They also sent their son to the monastery frequently. Whenever they recommended their son to go to the monastery, the Singala, the young boy, replied that he should not go to the school, he should not go to the monastery. Then he also gave many different reasons of not going to the monastery. Then he said, if I go to the monastery, I must pay homage to the Buddhas and Buddha disciples. So when he bowed down, he must bind his back. Then there will be back pain, so I should not go there. This is also the first excuse. Not only that, he must kneel down. When he kneels down, his knees will pain. Also, there will be very rough nails. Skin will become very rough. That is why he should not go to the monastery. The one more thing is that he must sit on the ground. Sitting on the ground, his clothes will be dirty. Then it will spoil the clothes. This is also another reason. Then when he go to the monastery, he must sit nearby a bhikkhu or any ordinary persons. If he has to sit there, then there must be conversation. If they have conversation, then there will be friendships or acquaintance. And if they are acquaintance, then finally he must invite the bhikkhus with four questions. Then he has to offer the properties. It's like wasting or squandering. He had this kind of thoughts and perception. He did not wish to see the Buddha and the Buddha disciples. Although his parents are noble persons, he is very, very far from the Dhamma. When his father was dying, with the thoughts that when ignorant persons see his father, his sons, paying respect to different quarters, someone will correct his point of view. His father admonished him, my son, this is my last word for you. When I pass away, please get up early morning, and also you must wash, you must take a bath, take a shower. After that, just leave Rajagaha. Then with wet clothes and wet hair, worships with joint hands these 6 quadrants. So he just mentioned 6 quadrants. As we have already know what are the 6 quadrants. They mention east, the south, the west, the north, the nadir, and also zenith, the zenith. So he has to pay respect to these 6 directions or 6 quadrants. When his father passed away, he respectfully listened his father's words. Every early morning, he got up, and he left the Rajagaha with white clothes and white hair, and he worships the 6 quadrants with his joint hands. One day, the Buddha also came to know that Singala will become Buddha disciples. Also, it will be very beneficial for many devotees. After rearranging his robes and also taking his bow, An's bow, the Buddha entered into Rajagaha for Ans. At the time, Singala was leaving Rajagaha and also worshipping various quarters. Singala did not see the Buddha because he was worshipping the 6 quadrants. The Buddha saw him worshipping the various quarters. Then the Buddha asked, why you worshipped various quarters? Then he says that he's respecting, reverencing, honoring his father's words. He got up early morning and leaving Rajagaha with white clothes and white hairs. He worshipped the 6 quarters with his hand joints. On hearing that, the Buddha replied, in noble teaching of the Buddha is not the 6 directions. Then the young Brahmin asks, what are the 6 directions or 6 quarters in the noble teaching of the Buddha? Then the Buddha explains him as a noble disciple. He has eradicated the 4 vices in contact, and he committed no evil actions in 4 ways. He does not pursue the 6 channels for distracting wealth. So he avoiding these 14 evil things, covered the 6 quadrants. He entered the path leading to the victory in both worlds, which means he is favored in these worlds and also in the worlds beyond. We can also understand that it will be good for him in this very life and in the future lives. So here we have to understand the 4 vices in contact. In Pali, we call it as kama kilesa. So what does it mean, kama kilesa? So by this kama, or by this kama, the living beings are defined. That's why it's called kama kilesa. Now we can also understand another way. The kama that associate with defilements is called kama kilesa. So as we have to know that the karma here is associated with kilesa, that's what we call kama kilesa. Then as we understand kilesa, the defilements, we also have to know that it make mind impure. It also make our actions impure. Then the Buddha explained what are the four vices in conduct that the noble disciple has eradicated. As you have already undertaken the Ajvattamaka Sila, you can understand the first four precepts. The destructions of life, we can also understand like killing living beings, then stealing, sexual misconduct, and cheating or telling a lie. These four are called vices that the noble disciple has already eradicated. So you may have known the Panadipada, killing living beings. Actually, this is a very common in Buddha's teaching. But today I have to explain a little bit about killing living beings. We have different types of killing according to Buddha's teaching. Very clear one is sahatika. We ourselves kill other living beings. That means we kill other living beings with our own hands or our own weapons, something like that. This is our own actions. The second one is that we recommend or we order or we pressure other people to kill another living beings. This is called anatika, ordering, commanding, or recommendation, recommending. Then we also have nisekiya, such as throwing stones, shooting with guns, shooting with arrows. So we have to throw something at somebody or some living beings. This is also called killing. Then we also have like a unmovable or immovable killing, such as digging hole or making or setting a trap to kill living beings. Then any kind of things can be considered as immovable. For example, in modern community, there will be poisoning in the lake, in the pool, or in the well, in the water. This is also called immovable. If somebody drink or some other living beings drink this water, they will die. That is also called immovable killing. Then the next one. We call in Bali Vichamaya. Vichamaya means they will kill living beings with their tantra or mantra or any of chanting or any of black magic. All these things can be considered as Vichamaya. According to criminal law, this is not the problem, because we cannot have any witness if somebody kill another living beings with black magic. But in Buddha's teaching, it is also Panadipada. Then the last one is Kama Vipakachiti. We also say Itimaya in Pali. There will be some living beings or some people, they have special karmic power. They have special potentiality since they were born. Whatever they are mind inclined, it happened. If like this, then, for example, he or she may think that his enemy should die. Just think in his mind, then that person will die. This kind of things are called, this kind of power is called karmic power. Their karma gives this kind of power. Then, if they kill with this kind of power also, it's panadipada. Although they don't have bodily actions and bhava actions, only mental actions, another living being can die. Of course, they may also have other bodily or bhava actions by their karmic power. Any kind of karmic power, if we use for killing living beings, this is also called panadipada. But not only that, we have to remember these methods in every precept. Have to repeat the actions of killing or the act of killing. The first steps, the first one, killing we ourselves, killing other living beings. Second, we recommend, command or order somebody to kill another living beings. The third is like a shooting, throwing stones or something like that. Then the fourth one is immovable, like a poison in the lake or trap, setting a trap. The fifth one is using black magic, tantra or mantra or anything. Then the sixth one is karmic power. The power given by the karma. If we use any of these methods to kill other living beings, this is called panadipada. Now, one more thing we have to explain what's really called how many factors to accomplish the act of killing. There are 5 factors. It must be a living beings. We also have the perceptions of living beings, which means we know it's a living being. Then we also have intention to kill. We have make some actions. Finally, the living beings die. Altogether, 5 factors. I will repeat. 1, it must be living beings. 2, we also have the perceptions of living beings. 3, we have intention to kill. 4, we make actions. 5, the living being die. If we have completed these 5 factors, it is called panadipada. So sometimes when we shoot some other animals or living beings, they do not die on the spot, but they just injure there. They got injured there, but later they die. This is also called panadipada. So this is the first one called panadipada. Then second one is stealing. This one is also very common teaching in Buddha's discourses. As we know that adina dana, adina means ungiven, adana means taken, taking other people's ungiven property. If the owner is not given, we should not take. If the property is not given by the owner, we should not take. If we take it, it is stealing. So this part is really, really very, very wide in Vinaya. For example, although we say stealing, but we may cheat people to earn money. This is also called stealing. Not only that, if we destroy other people's properties with bad intentions or maybe to waste other people's properties, it is also called stealing. So sometimes, like we just change the identity of other people's like computer or laptop or maybe telephone, anything. Like by changing identity, we can also steal other people's properties. This is also called stealing. Then now in modern society, like hacking other people's account, that kind of things can be considered as stealing. So anyway, the main point is stealing is really, really very, very wide. It depends on how we have intention. So if we just borrow other people's properties with the intention to return, it doesn't matter. If we have intention to take other people's properties, which is not given by the owner, this is really called stealing. So now, there are the factors that is called stealing. It must be other people's properties. We also know that it is other people's properties. Then we also have intention to steal. Then we may make an action. Then we get the properties. If we have completed all these actions, the 5 factors is called stealing. Actually, we should explain many different things about stealing because there's too many things about the explanations. Okay, anyway, sometimes we may hide other people's properties or anything, right? All these things can be considered as stealing. Then the next one is sexual misconduct. Oh, this one is a very heavy topic. In India, you may have many different culture, many different traditions of wedding ceremony. So we can also understand it depends on the wedding ceremony we celebrate according to the country or the culture or the community. There will be different acceptance of wedding or marriage. So here we have to understand 2 different parts. The married woman and unmarried man. If they have such a relationship, both of them break precepts. If unmarried woman and married woman or unmarried man, unmarried woman and with married man or unmarried man, both. At the time, only the men break precepts. Women are guided by his parents, maybe his relatives, or any member, because they are guardianships. So in brief, in this case, we have to know the married woman and unmarried woman, they will be different. For about the man, it's not the problem with these rules, because he have such a relationship with married woman or unmarried woman without their parental consent is a breaking precepts. So that means if the woman is guarded by somebody, for example, guarded by parents, brother, sister, relatives, or Dhamma friends, or organizations, or community, so their guardian must approve or must agree with the man. So if their parents agree or their guardian agrees, then is no sexual misconduct. So for about men's side, we don't need any agreement from our guardians. Only from the woman's side, we need agreement or consent from their guardians. So we have to know that the factors of breaking these precepts. So there are 4 factors to complete the act of such a misconduct. 1, unallowable woman, which means married woman or the woman with guardianship. Then 2, having intention to misconduct. 3, having activities. Then 4, he enjoys it. So if he has completed these 4 factors, is called the sexual misconduct. Then the next one is lying. So this is mostly we understand as bhava action, but in reality, it also can be bodily action. It depends on the way we communicate with people. Okay, now, when we are going to talk about musawada or telling a lie or cheating, so we have to understand seeing as seeing. So if we tell untruth things, for example, I have seen something, but I say I have never seen it. Similarly, I have never seen something, but I say I have seen it. Seeing as unseen, unseen as seeing. This is also lying. This is musawada. Similarly, hearing. Hearing as unhear, unheard, unheard as heard. This is also called musawada. You can also understand all other sense rules: smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing. For example, knowing as unknown, unknowing as knowing. If we tell untrue things, this is musawada, telling a lie. Then we also have one more thing to explain in this part. We call in Pali Walanjaka musawada. Walanjaka musawada means it's beneficial for the listeners. For example, in modern society, we may say, what a lie. Is it really beneficial for the listeners? If something is very harmful for the listeners, the second party will tell untruth. For example, the patient has cancer, he will die soon. But the doctor may say, oh, you can take medicine, you can recover from it, to comfort him or her. In this case, it's called Walanjaka musawada. So this kind of thing is beneficial for the listeners, but this is also called breaking precepts, but not unwholesome. We have to understand. This is breaking precepts, but we have good intentions, beneficial for the listeners. That's why it's not akusala. That kind of cheating cannot lead to the fourfold state. So sometimes we may tell a lie out of fear, or sometimes we may make a joke. Sometimes when we are in danger, we may tell a lie. In this situation, this is also called Walanjaka musawada. So, although it breaks precepts, but this kind of breaking precepts cannot lead us to fourfold state. This is not akusala. So as usual, we have to understand the 4 factors to accomplish the act of telling a lie. 1, untrue things. 2. Having intention to tell untruth. 3. Activities. Here, activity means bodily actions or verbal actions. For example, like shaking the head, nodding the head, or showing our hand gestures. We can also tell a lie. So any kind of activities. 4. The listener understands it. Sometimes, although we tell untruth, the listener cannot understand. In this case, it's not musawada. So, these 4 are called kama kilesa, the 4 vices in contact. So that means when we have accumulated or only have done one of these 4 vices in contact, we are impure. There, the Buddha also explained to Singala. These are 4 vices in contact, but these 4 evils are not praiseworthy. They are not praised by the wise. Of course, the immoral person will praise immoral person. That is really very common. The moral person will praise moral persons. That is also common. Here, the main thing is wise persons or good persons. When we are praised by good and wise person, we are good. When we are good person, that means we are bad. Sometimes we are praised by bad people. At the time, we are bad. When we are complained by bad people, we have to consider, is it good or bad? So anyway, the main thing is, these 4 actions are also included in 5 precepts. As you have already known it, we have the first 4 precepts. So in the very beginning of this course, the Buddha explained these 4 precepts to Singala. Then again, the Buddha continues another 4. There are 4 ways one commits no evil actions. So that means the noble disciple will not commit no evil actions, will not commit evil actions in 4 ways. What are the 4? Led by desire or love. The noble disciple does not commit evil. So here we have to explain a little bit about desire or love. In Pali, we call chandagati. So, if we talk about agati, evil cause of actions, chandagati means chanda agati, the evil cause of actions by love. So, which means we may favor our relatives, our friends, our associates, companions. Because of love, we favor them. So if we have to share properties, maybe people's properties, we may favor our relatives, friends, associates, companions. This is called chandagati, committing evil things. Sometimes because of bribery, we may favor the person who bribes. Actually, in every country, there's corruptions. Maybe more or less. So when we have corruptions, that community is unsafe. If there's a lot of corruptions, it's really, really very, very serious or really, really very dangerous. It's spoiling people's mind. Anyway, so the main thing is if we favor somebody because of love, long-term relationship, or because of bribery, is called chandagati. This is also called wrong causes of evil. The evil causes of action. Then another one is we call led by anger. The noble disciple does not commit evil. Although we talk about anger, here we should say in Pali, dosagati. The evil causes of action led by hatred or anger. Maybe it will be a long-time enemy, or naturally it's enemy. Then it also can be immediate hatred on the spot when seeing somebody or somebody's behavior. Because of hatred, if we unfavor somebody, or if we favor somebody, it is called dosagati. So which means, because of hatred, if we have to make some judgment, or if we are in the trial court, we may favor the opposition. We may not favor our enemies or the one we hate. Similarly, when we have to distribute big properties, that we may not favor our enemies. This is called dosagati. Now the next one is led by ignorance. So here ignorance we call in Pali mohagati, not knowing the truth, or maybe a lot of confusion. We may have wrong decisions, or we may favor somebody. This is called mohagati. Finally, bhayagati, led by fear. The noble disciple does not commit evil. So here, bhaya means fear. It can be many different types of fear. Maybe because of he's so powerful, that's when we are scared. We have to favor him more. Otherwise, he may make problem. Or maybe he has very powerful person, such as in front of king. He is very close to the king, now modern society like a president, or maybe officers, very powerful officers. Then out of fear, we may favor that kind of person more. In this case, it's also called bhayagati, led by fear. Not only that, sometimes we also have to be scared of gangster. If somebody is very close to gangster or has very good relationship with gangster, or very good relationship with gangster, that we may scare him or maybe fear him, and we may favor him more. In this case, it's also called bhayagati. Then, led by fear, we have committed evil. Then not only that, the Buddha also explained to Singala what the stanzas. So if we have done evil, what these four evil causes of action, then all our glory will fade away like the moon during the waning half, like a dark moon day. After full moon day, the moon becomes smaller and smaller. Similarly, if we have committed evil because of the evil causes of action, these four evil causes of action, our glory will be like the moon. After the full moon day, gradually becomes smaller and smaller. Then again, if we don't commit evil with these four evil causes of action, then our glory will be increasing like the moon during the waxing half. That means after dark moon day, the moon becomes bigger and bigger gradually up to full moon. So similarly, if we have done many things wrong, we are very far from the Dhamma, then our glory will become smaller and smaller. That means weaker and weaker, decreasing. Then if we do not commit any evil, our glory will increase gradually, bigger and bigger, like the full moon day, like moving to the full moon day. So full moon day or the dark moon day is decided by our actions. So if we have done these kind of wrong actions, then we will be, if we have done that kind of wrong actions, we will be increasing or decreasing. We are decreasing our glory. If we didn't commit this kind of evil, we are increasing our glory. So these are the four evil causes. Then what are the 6 channels for dissipating wealth, which he does not pursue? So here we have to list out indulgence in intoxicants, which cause infatuation and heedlessness. These are called, this is the first one. Then we also have the sauntering in streets at an unseemly hour. That means we just go here and there without any reasons at night. Then 3, frequenting vertical shows. That means frequenting many festivals, enjoying many festivals here and there too much. Then 4, indulgence in gambling, which causes heedlessness. This one is very clear. Then 5, association with evil companions. This one is also clear. Later we have to elaborate all these things. Then 6, the habit of idleness. So these are 6 channels for dissipating wealth. So if we are doing one of these 6, then we are squandering or dissipating our wealth. Of course, there will be some benefit in some cases. It depends on how we arrange all the things. Then, okay, today we have to continue the next one. All the 6 will be elaborated one after another. That's why here I have to say a little bit more. So the 6 will be the last part for today's Dhamma talk. There are 6 evil consequences in indulging in intoxicants, which cause infatuation and heedlessness. As we have known, taking intoxicant is breaking precepts. Although we have already talked about the 4 precepts in our beginning, in our Dhamma talk, in this Dhamma talk very beginning, but now this one is about the last precepts, Sutta Medaya, among the 5 precepts. Then many people also ask me, what's really called taking intoxicant? For example, what about taking wine? It's not that much, it does not make people crazy that much, just very soft drink like that. Yeah, the main point is, as long as it can change people's mind, it's intoxicant. So we have different types of intoxicants made from different material. For example, made from grains, such as rice, wheat, flours. Also can be fruit, flowers, honey. People can make alcohol or wine from many different materials. They will add yeast. Then, although it's not very drunk, like it cannot get drunk, but it also can make mind a little bit crazy. Then all these things can be considered as Sutta Medaya. Then, what about in medicine? Sometimes we can also find some intoxicants in medicine, as long as it does not taste. For example, alcohol. It does not taste alcohol. It does not smell. It does not have the color of alcohol. Totally changed already. It cannot get drunk. Then we can use as a medicine. It will be exceptions. So now, the Buddha said there are 6 evil consequences in indulging in intoxicants. 1, loss of wealth. So which means if he get drunk, he cannot protect his wealth. For example, he wear many precious things in his body. He may have bracelets or necklaces. Also, he may have very valuable watches in his hands. He has very valuable handful in his pocket. He may get drunk. If somebody take away, he cannot protect. That means this is only a very simple example. There can be many more than that. Then 2, increase of quarrels. So that means when he get drunk, he can speak whatever thing he like. He become brave. Although he is very quiet in his daily life, when he get drunk, he can be talkative. Not only that, there can be physical abuse and verbal abuse because of drunk. That's why it's called increasing quarrels. 3, susceptibility to disease. That means his body resistance becomes weaker. He can get sick very easily. This is one of the reasons. Then 4, earning an evil reputation. So this one is also very common. It can happen anytime when somebody gets drunk. Then 5, shameless exposures of body. So when he gets drunk, he cannot cover his body very well, right? If somebody take away his clothes, he cannot control anymore. So shameless exposure of his body. It can be anywhere, anytime. Then 6, weakness of intellect. Of course, he may not have any, right, reasoning, any recollections, or maybe he may not know any good and bad. His rationality, his thinking, his intellectual power, everything become weak, or sometimes no more intellect. According to Buddha's teaching, if we have karma ownership knowledge, it's good. But now in his case, after taking intoxicants, his karma ownership knowledge become weaker. Although he had knowledge about karma ownership in his daily life, after taking intoxicants, he will not know good and bad. It becomes risky. So these are 6 evil consequences, or 6 evil, we can also say 6 disadvantages of taking intoxicants. So today, briefly, we just explain about 5 precepts, because it will be too long to explain the next steps or the next topic in this discourse. Because this discourse is very long. In the very beginning, before I accept this Dhamma talk, I think only 2 Dhamma talks say, okay. But now when I read, I think I have to use about 3 or 4 talks about this topic. Okay, anyway, maybe if opportunity, we will see next time. Well, these are the disciplinary rules for lay devotees laid down by community. Whether the Buddha appear or not, people has accepted these are bad. That's why we have to follow it. We have to undertake it. Then this also called morality. We can also say moral training. The training of morality. So if we can train our bodily actions and bhava actions well, then we can also help our community to get better. So may you all be able to practice the Buddha's teaching, and as a result, may you all be able to realize the final cessations and not suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
साधु साधु मला काही प्रश्न आहेत का?
Is there any question?
Bante, in our first precept, you explained about that black magic killing and some connect with the connectivity, mind connectivity, people kill.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah. So, if someone have the intention only with the mind connectivity killing, does it mean that he can control the karma and he can do with that?
Like a bewitching, right?
Yeah, because the person's upaghataka karma when arise in the mind, that time our life will be finished in this world. So does it mean that that other person also have the power of to control the karma? Because karma cannot be controlled.
We cannot say karma is controlled by others, right?
Yeah.
So which means he has special karmic power to kill other living beings, like a black magic.
Okay.
Like a black magic, right? Sometimes they don't need to learn black magic. Since they were born, they have black magic already.
Okay.
That kind of power is called karmic power. We call itimaya in Pali. Okay?
Okay, Bhante.
Next one.
Bhante, no questions.
Okay.
Bhante, next part of this Dhamma talk, when we have to take?
Okay, so we should think about next week, right?
Next week.
Next week.
Sunday, Bhante.
Sunday, I'm not free. Maybe
Okay, Bhante.
wrong. Maybe even like a Monday. Okay. Any other day is okay. You can consider.
Okay. Okay,
From
Bhante.
Monday to Friday, from Monday to Thursday, you can consider.
Okay, Bhante.
Okay.
Yeah. Bhante, blessings for everyone.
Okay, so Ittavada amehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambadi siddhya idamme nyadinam hotu sukhita hontu nyadiyo idamme nyadinam hotu sukhita hontu nyadiyo idamme nyadinam hotu sukhita hontu nyadiyo Idame punyam asavakaya waham hotu. Idame punyam nipanasa batiyo hotu. Mama punya bagam sabha satanam bhajimi. Te sabe me samam punya bagam labandu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.